Wonder Woman 20 opens with Apollo brooding as the Lord of Olympus. He is concerned with the prophecy stating that an heir of Zeus will destroy the gods. Since he believes the baby Zeke is the one who will destroy him, he sends his sister Artemis to London to kill him. Zeke and his mother Zola are under the protection of Wonder Woman though. She takes the fight to Artemis. As they battle, Artemis asks Diana why she doesn't use her full power. Diana responds, saying that unleashing her full power could harm the mortal world. Even limiting herself, Diana is able to defeat Artemis. Meanwhile, Lennox, Hera, Zola, and Zeke use the commotion to escape. As they make their way through the streets of London, they run into Cassandra and the Firstborn. Cassandra reveals herself to be Lennox's sister, and the two prepare to fight.
At the end of this issue, we finally see sort of a converging of storylines. We've had the Firstborn storyline building, and simultaneously we've had this fight over the newborn Zeke. And, they're finally coming together.
Well, I'm glad they finally are. I mean, it seems like the Firstborn crawled out of the center of Earth, years ago at this point. So, it's about time he ran into Wonder Woman. It's cool we saw a little bit more of Cassandra's backstory, though. At least now we know she's Lennox's sister.
Yeah, so, the assumption then is that she is also a daughter of Zeus. And if we extrapolate it all from Greek myth, Cassandra was actually a priestess of Troy, and she had this power to prophesize, and she was cursed because she would say the truth, but no one listened to her, and she was cursed by Apollo. And I think actually the voice that she talks about, might have something to do with her being able to control people, say the truth.
Although it appears Lennox is the one who ripped out her throat.
Yeah. Though, I'm still thinking that it's possible she has some connection to Apollo, because I think that would fit in with the complicated connections that every character seems to have.
And if she's helping the Firstborn, it sounds like she wants to just kill all the gods.
Yeah.
Starting with Apollo, since he has now declared himself the Lord of Olympus.
So she's definitely got some resentment, I think, more than just Lennox ripping out her vocal cords in some way.
Another big part of this issue was round 2 between Artemis and Diana. And Diana won again. I was a little surprised she did, considering she had such a hard time when they fought on Olympus, and she actually had to take her bracelets off and, go Super Saiyan mode, almost.
Diana makes a huge thing about using Artemis's power to her advantage, which pretty much just means her momentum. But she does use the lasso pretty coolly, I thought, in the fight.
One quote I really liked was when Artemis points out, why do you restrain yourself? Why don't you go full power? Take off your bracelets. And Diana responds saying, when we met on Olympus, I didn't care what kind of destruction I caused. But here, and she implies that she does, which I think is kind of cool because it shows what a good person Diana is. She truly cares about the mortals, whereas the rest of these Olympians don't seem to give a damn.
That's true. In previous issue, we saw that she just sort of loves everyone. And I think that's just her nature. Maybe she's just the one unique god. So you mentioned Apollo as Lord of Olympus, and I kind of like him as Lord of Olympus, but he does seem to be getting pretty nervous now with the prophecy. He sent Artemis down, obviously, to try to deal with the baby, but you have a really important scene where Poseidon comes up and tells him, hey, you should be worrying about the Firstborn.
Yeah, it is kind of cool that Apollo's in charge. I really like he has a line where he says, this is the dawn of a new era, one of the sun, one of enlightenment, not blood.
As for Poseidon has a great comeback, and he says, that's your problem, nephew. You have no respect for tradition. And when it comes to just mythology, it's all about the tradition. Just because your father did something, you end up kind of doing the same thing. It's all about symbols. And I think Apollo's reign is just doomed to fall because he doesn't follow those traditions. He's going to meet so much resistance.
Yeah, and his reign seems really caught up in this whole prophecy. And he views Zeke as the one who's going to destroy them when all we know is that it's a child of Zeus. So it could definitely be the Firstborn. Even Diana is a possibility, I think, of who could end up destroying the gods.
He emphasizes that he wants to have a new beginning that's without bloodshed. And I think Diana is someone that would actually be a great ally for him. And I think in the future, they will become allies, because it's going to be, I think, a new guard versus the old guard scenario. That's also a common motif in myth. And Poseidon and Hades and all these people, they're the old guard. And these younger generation, I think they represent change, and then that's always a point of conflict.
Well, both Poseidon and Hades have seemed to be scheming on the side, and we don't know the full extent yet, but I'm sure they're not cool with some youngster taking the spot they've eyed for a while.
Exactly. So, as a grade for Wonder Woman number 20, what would you give it?
I'd give this issue a 3.5 out of 5. It was a solid issue, but I was somewhat surprised that Wonder Woman was able to take Artemis without going full power. And it was kind of corny how she used her lasso and Artemis's momentum to defeat her.
I'd give this issue a 3 out of 5 for the very reason you stated. I felt the fight scene was kind of corny and I didn't really care for it. But the one thing I've loved about this series is just the symbolism within the artwork. I love how some of the gods are portrayed, and once again, it's done excellently in this issue.
So thanks for watching B3 Comics review of Wonder Woman number 20. As always, we have a question for you guys.
So which child of Zeus do you think will destroy the gods?
Leave your answer below in the comments, and thanks for watching.